Exploration of the Oracle PL SQL in 10 minutes, a Sam's Teach Yourself book. In this example, we're going to continue with chapter 4, which is where we left off from the previous. Just a quick reminder, we went into Application Express. We uploaded some SQL scripts. The SQL scripts we ran, created some tables, then populated some tables. And we created the vendors, products, product notes, orders, order items, and customer tables all through those scripts. So what we're going to do in this section is we're actually going to go create some select statements. And the select statements are going to pull the data in and show us what we can see. So the method we're going to use is we're going to copy and paste from the book into SQL Workshop, and we do that through the SQL commands. And that's done by just copy and paste, and then down at the bottom. So we notice we have 10 rows because we have 10 elements in the database, and that's exactly what we expected to see from that select statement. So the next thing we want to do is, rather than select a single column, we're going to select 3 columns. And look at how the data comes back and is formatted. So notice we've got a column for product ID, a column for product name, and a column for product price. And again, this is what was expected from the output of the book. So if we want to look at all the columns, there are multiple ways we can do this. First way is by using the select star command. And the select star command will return all columns and all rows and show us everything. So we've got product ID, vendor ID, along with everything else. So the second way of doing that is by going into the object browser. And in the object browser, we can do the same thing, going into the products table. And then looking at the data that is inside of the entry, we see everything and can actually go in and edit and modify and insert new data if we wanted to by clicking on an insert row. We can do counts to show how many do we have in the field, and it should come back with 14. So there are a variety of things we can do in the object browser in SQL Workshop, or we can go to the command line as is instructed in the book. Now if I wanted to look at the vendor ID, I can go and select, and we should get 14 rows back that shows the vendor ID. Even though there aren't 14 vendors, there are 14 unique entries in the database. So we get back all of the different rows. We only look for 10. So if I say, I really want 50, I can return all 50 and it'll come back and say realistically there were 14, and we'll see down at the bottom 14 rows returned. Vendor IDs, but I don't want duplicates. I use the distinct, where I say select distinct, and it's going to return just the vendor IDs that are unique. Even though there are 14 of them, there are only 4 unique ones. And that's basically what that command does. Now I can go in and do select from a table and say select table.column from a table. And it'll come back and give us the product name as expected. But if I'm trying to walk across multiple database instances, I can go in and say from crash course, because that's the name of the schema that we've actually used. And it'll return the exact same thing. We're just calling it a different way. This is a more official way of asking for it, in that I'm asking for, in this schema from this table, return this table's column, and that's the column that we're returning. So I can go and put comments in, and this is where Application Express differs a little bit from the book, in that I can go in and put comments in and run it, and it works fine. But if I go in and do the following comments, where the comment is standalone, it's actually not going to work, because Application Express doesn't like having the comment as the first thing that it sees. So you get a SQL command not properly ended, and that's this first line. It doesn't like it. And it has to do with, let's just get rid of this comment and run it, and it should work fine. So it doesn't like that format of the comment. It doesn't like the way the book suggests doing it. So you have to be a little cautious. Same is true over here, in that it doesn't like having the comment bracket independent, and it should fail again. But if I take a comment and put it here, it'll work. So the problem it has is it doesn't like having a comment naked by itself, and it'll generate an error when that happens. So as long as you realize comments are a little bit different than they are in the book, everything should be fine. When you execute it from a script, it works fine. Just when you execute it from the SQL command, it fails. And that will end this section of the video.